Hey everybody, you're watching Ohm Sweet Ohm on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel. Hey everybody, welcome to Ohm Sweet Ohm. I'm yoga instructor Alison Schuster, and today I'm at Seneca Valley. It's like coming back home for me. I'm in the field house here at Seneca Valley, and I'm talking to Coach Ron Butschle. Hi, Coach Butschle.
Hello there, Mrs. Schuster. Great to see you.
It's so
Great
good
to
to
see you.
So Ron is one of my very best friends, and so to have him on the show is awesome, and we're going to have to make sure that, we stay on track because we like to talk about everything. But today we're going to talk a little bit about coaching in Seneca Valley. And I really want to let's start at the beginning. It's like this is your life.
Oh my goodness.
Right? We're
Yeah.
going back to the beginning. So what drew you to coaching was being an athlete, right? You started out as a high school athlete yourself.
I did, yeah. Back in the late 70s and early 80s, athlete kind of had a different connotation. We as kids just played sports. We went out and, during baseball season, we pretended to be Johnny Bench and whoever it was that we emulated during that season. And then during basketball season, it was on to the next, and during football season. So I played all three, football, basketball, and baseball, in high school, and then I went on and I played football in college, and I also played baseball in college.
Tell us where you were.
So I grew up in Chicago, and my very first college that I chose was a place called Western Illinois University, and I got an opportunity to play football there, and it was a good place, but it wasn't. It turned out to be, and this is something that I talk about to our seniors all the time. I made the choice based on football, not on my education and what I was, I was looking at the next 4 years, not the next 40 years.
Right.
And turned out that after a couple of years, I decided to transfer schools, and I ended up in Pittsburgh because my dad at the time worked for U.S. Air, and he lived in Pittsburgh, and I was just looking for a new start, so I came out and was living with my dad and enrolled at Duquesne, and I was just going to go to school. And met the baseball coach at an intramural football game, and ended up playing baseball for 2 years at Duquesne as a pitcher. So I always tell people my athletic career was very average, maybe below average, in terms of what I accomplished. But in terms of the things that I learned about, athletics and being on a team and appreciating great coaching, because I had some great coaches along the way. Those are some of the things that went into my background to get me inspired and excited to be in this career.
And kind of fueled that philosophy that coaching is not really about the sport, it's about life.
Yeah, and that's something that, again, in today's culture and society where the focus is on social media and attention drawn to yourself in terms of, being a scholarship athlete or whatever, those are things that are great, but I tell our players all the time that I could care less if they are an all-conference or an all-state player. What I want them to be is a great student, a great employee, a great husband, a great father, a great brother. The things that you learn from being on a team are things that build that character.
Right, it is a family.
It is, yeah.
Too, but I know that.
No question.
And academics are huge for you as well.
Yeah.
Some people don't know this, about you, but you were a journalism major,
I was.
right?
I was.
You came out of Duquesne, and you were ready to launch into a career in journalism.
Yeah, actually, I started a career in journalism at an ad agency in downtown Pittsburgh, and very quickly realized that wasn't, again, that was a choice that I made. Maybe not thinking it all the way through, but it was an opportunity that I had, and it made me realize that I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to get back and work with kids and coach. So I ended up going back to graduate school at Duquesne and getting my master's degree in secondary education, and that's what stuck. And I've been doing it for 32 years, and I still get as excited about teaching, in a classroom as I do coaching on a field.
And this is where I come in, right? This is where we met.
Yes, it is.
Is that we were teaching the same class and in the same department, the English department at Seneca Valley, right? An argument and debate. Little shout out to our argument kids.
Yes,
We love them.
Yes.
I
Always.
love that class.
Yes.
Right? Different field of battle than the football field, but the debate code.
Nonetheless, though, still that.
Challenging,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Challenging. It's a different set of skills, but again about life, and I
Yes.
think that's what keeps bringing you back to teaching, whether it's teaching in the classroom or on the field, is being able to give kids life skills.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I've always looked at coaching the same way as I look to teach. I mean, coaching is teaching, and again, we and I know you are as competitive as anybody. Being competitive and working hard are things that translate, in the classroom, on the field, and I think that even kids, who you have in class who aren't, necessarily athletically oriented, I think they appreciate the enthusiasm and that fire. Yeah. Listen, I mean, again, 30 some years doing this profession, both professions. I always and listen. You were my teacher when it came to the debate stuff, and I love it. But I'm always anxious to try and learn from people who know a lot more about things that I don't know. I mean, it still excites me to talk to you about things that I still don't know about, teaching a debate course or going to a coaching clinic and listening to a coach talk about something that may seem elementary, but makes opens your eyes maybe to looking at something a little bit differently. And then you take that back to the classroom, and I think students appreciate that sort of approach to teaching. It's not about recitation and regurgitation. It's about having conversations and discussing and relating things to real life, because
being willing to always learn. And we talk about this I mean, it kind of ties into the yoga philosophy too. We call our yoga workouts practice. We say we practice yoga because you can never reach that mastery. There's always more to learn.
Yeah.
There's always something new to learn, and I think that excitement translates to your students if you're willing to be a student as well.
And again, I think that kids and your students in your yoga class probably appreciate that about you, and about a teacher who's also open enough with students to say, look, I still want to learn about this. I don't know everything. When you think you do know everything, I think you maybe tend to turn people off, because, again, I think building that relationship with your students and gaining their trust is all part of being a good teacher and being a good coach.
Now let's get to a sticky subject, right? And I know you and I have talked about this before. I've called you on the phone for advice with my own kids of being uncomfortable with the way sports are going, where you have to play one sport year round, right?
Yeah.
The intensity of youth sports now, where it's 7 or 8, you got to make a choice, and then that's what you're going to do. So
Yeah.
tell me what you think of that, Ron.
You know what I think about it, Allison. But no, it's, and again, I think, I don't know when it turned to that, but specialization in sports is not a good thing. The idea that, and I think a big part of it, I think money is a big part of it, because there are so many outside groups, whether it be travel teams or, and I don't want to name names of organizations, but club sports, things like that, that, sell their team on, well, hey, we can help you get recruited. This is going to get you to the next level. If you play, all year long, and your skills, you're going to work on your skills all year long. What I believe is that, and my experience has always been the best football players that I've ever had are guys that are multi-sport athletes, bar none. I've been lucky enough to coach some guys that have gone on to play Division I football, and I've coached some guys who've gone on to play in the NFL. And each one of those guys is someone who, when they were young, they played them all. It's funny because just going and playing catch in the yard or shooting baskets in a driveway is something that, and I see with my own kids, they bring their friends over, and some of their friends only do one thing. They don't know how to shoot a basketball. They don't know how to catch and throw. To play, right? And it's kind of sad. And as a high school coach, as in my philosophy's never changed, is I've always tried to formulate relationships with the other coaches in the other sports, because we should be sharing athletes and communicating with one another about because the off season is always a big issue in terms of sharing time with kids. The baseball coach wants them to be playing in this league, and the basketball coach wants them in the summer league, and the football coach wants them to be at workouts, and so on and so on. So if those, and again, I'm just using those three sports as an example, but because there's others, obviously, when coaches are pulling at kids tend to feel like they need to be loyal to a coach. Right. And when a coach says, well, listen, if you play this, you're never going to start on our team. Right. I think it's a disservice to the kid. I think it's a disservice to the school and to the sport. I think that I encourage our kids to do other things. I tell them and again, this is just me. I say, listen, you're a football player who also plays baseball and basketball. I say that selfishly and jokingly, but I like when they do other things. I do, and I've been very lucky here at Seneca. The coaches of other sports have always been great guys and ladies to work with, because it'd be difficult if that wasn't the case.
When they come to me, I always say they're a yogi that might play football.
Right, exactly. Like myself. No.
That's right. That also plays football.
Right.
And I think what I see when I have a lot of student athletes, and I work with some of the teams here at Seneca, I see the problem with those year-round situations is repetitive motion injuries. And we've seen that huge rise in those at the high school level. I mean, sure, you get to our age, and you got some of that just because you're old.
Yes.
Right? But we're seeing it in these young kids, 15, 16 years old, that are having ACL injuries and meniscus injuries and things that really shouldn't be happening. But it's because of the repetitive motion of doing the same thing year round and not diversifying. So I think it affects health as well.
Yeah. I mean, the severity of those injuries too is something that can't be underestimated. I mean, when you're talking about ACLs and AC joints and rotator cuff injuries and from overuse and over, repetitive motion, like you said. Those injuries aren't things that heal quickly either. And then all of a sudden you got a kid who's now missing a season of whatever sport it is because of an injury that recurred unnecessarily.
And could have lifelong consequences.
Yeah, no
really.
question.
I mean, those injuries really take a toll on your body going forward. So I think we all feel that way, and we see that culture of sports pushing and hope that the pendulum is going to swing back to play a little bit.
Well, yeah.
I don't know if it will.
I don't know either. It's hard to watch sometimes when you get young kids and they don't have the opportunity to enjoy multiple things.
And the excitement of the sport, the love of it, of looking forward to it.
That's something that I think is missing. I think kids like sports, but I don't know if they love. And again, I think the competition was always something that I loved, and it was always something that I still love. I still enjoy. I mean, I still get that same feeling, before a game that I did before every game that I ever played, whether it was, football, basketball, baseball, wiffle ball. You got that little burst of energy because you were going to compete against whether it was your buddy or your rival. And not that doesn't happen in people who play one sport, but to have the opportunity to do that in multiple venues, I think is something that I want in my own life with my own kids, and I would love to see come back in general.
And that's a hope, I think. And I think, I hope parents hear that message too. Because sometimes as parents we do get caught up in the, oh geez, we got to do this year round because they got to reach this level, and it's not really about that. It's never really about that. It's about who the kids are as people, and again, it's about life, rather than.
Well, and you're right, and I think you hit one of the key sore spots in that whole topic is that sometimes the expectation of parents is an overriding factor in what kids do, and I've seen it a lot in the pressure to be a scholarship athlete is something that I've seen turn good athletes and good players into lesser players because they're so worried about not getting to the level of expectation that's been put upon them, that they don't perform.
That takes a little of the joy away too.
Takes a lot of it, if not all of it away. Then you're not playing because you love the sport and the game. You're playing because you think you have to do it to get somewhere. And the reality is, and I can only speak really to football. The reality is that there are very few elite players who get to go to really high levels of collegiate athletics. I mean, and there's nothing wrong with being a Division III player versus a Division I, athlete. It's the opportunity again to just continue your career, and if you're good enough, it'll happen.
Right.
And it's not like a job interview. You can't sell yourself.
Right.
You have to. What sells you is number one, your what you do on the field or wherever. Number two is your grades, and that's something that again is lost in the translation. So much focus is on the play that people forget. Coaches come into my office all the time, and and I've had great players who, when they say, "Let me look at their transcript," they leave because the transcript doesn't match what happens on the field. And there's nothing, and they move on to the next guy. So it's all a big, like I said, it's kind of a marriage of a lot of different things that go into, I guess, the expectation that kids have and the parents have, and sometimes coaches, sometimes coaches have that, put that pressure on kids too. But I really try to emphasize the joy of being a teammate, you know, being with your friends, sharing a common bond and experience, and you know, being part of something that's bigger than you as an individual. You know.
And even with, I know a couple of your players have gone on to the NFL, and here at Seneca we've had some NFL players, some Major League Baseball players.
Yep.
We've had some amazing athletes.
Yeah.
But I love what you have done with those players in bringing them back. They're always part of Seneca Valley family, right? And the locker room proves that when we see their lockers and their jerseys right there for everyone to see. So it's not just, hey, you got to this amazing level, which is awesome with, you know, Don Barclay and Brandon Fusco, but also you're always part of that Seneca Valley family.
Yeah.
And I think that means more to the kids than seeing where they could go.
Yeah, and the really neat thing about guys like Donnie and Brandon and Kevin Smith, who you know
amazing,
got to play in the World Series last year.
Player. Right.
Yeah. I take credit for almost ruining his baseball career because I encouraged him to take a football scholarship at Pitt, which he did, but he ended up in the right place. But Donnie and Brandon and Kevin, those guys have all come back here, and you know. NFL players, you know, are put on pedestals, you know, as far as, you know, our culture and society. You know, Major League Baseball players, anybody who's a professional athlete. And the great thing about these guys is there's no pedestal with them. I mean, they're just Brandon and Donnie and Kevin, who are former Raiders, and again, part of our, we do call it a football family. And I tell them. I tell the kids all the time, I'm going to treat you like I treat my own son. You know, I'm going to love you up when you need it, and I'm going to kick you in the behind when you need it too. And those guys, I think, you know, took what they learned from being part of this culture, and you know, they certainly grew as people and players. But it's so nice to have them come back and tell the kids, hey, it all started with this and with this culture and with this. Listen, I was in the reason we put the lockers in the locker room like that is because I want kids to know those guys used these lockers just like you did. You know, they were no different than you. They grew and had opportunities and worked really hard. I mean, those guys are, you know, you don't get to be, you get to be that level of an athlete through talent and hard work. And those guys,
right. And I think people forget that piece. Like it does take a lot of hard work to get there.
You know, everybody sees the I guess maybe the glamour of being a professional athlete, but the grind behind it is really the story. You know, with those guys.
Now let's take it. We're going to take it one more direction because we're wearing masks, right?
Yeah, yes, we are.
And we're in the middle of a pandemic. Tell me about coaching in the pandemic. How do you make this work? How do you keep kids going in all of this?
Well, the thing that keeps me going is the kids. You know, I give them all the credit for being resilient and being able to be in a situation that none of us wants. This was probably the most difficult year of coaching that I've ever had. Not because of anything that happened on the field, not because I mean the kids were great, but the unknown is so difficult to deal with. You know, obviously, you know, the concern over you know, real sickness and health issues is always an underlying issue. You know, that we have to follow protocols, and you know, that wasn't really the difficult part. I mean, you know, wearing a mask, although none of us, you know, it really enjoys it. We've kind of gotten used to it. It's kind of just become part of everyday, you know, it's a fixture, you know. Right. The hardest part though was not being able to plan. You know, as a coach, I think that being prepared is one of the things I've always kind of prided myself on. And you know, I told you my athletic career and my coaching career kind of mirrored each other in that I'm definitely not the most talented guy in the world, but I always had and still have the mindset that no one's going to work harder than me, and no one's going to be more prepared than me.
And organized.
And organized.
I'm the one that used to come in and mess up your desk.
I know
Right?
you did, which drove me nuts, by the way.
Right?
Drove me
Right
nuts.
angles. Right?
I loved it though. Yeah, so I mean, there were weeks where we didn't know if we were playing a game till Wednesday, and so you're preparing these kids and going about. We actually had 2 interruptions in our practice time, which actually cost us our first game of the year. And it was tough for the kids to have to, because the expectation once you're on the field was, listen, let's
go.
It's business as usual,
Go time. Right.
Oh, and by the way, we're not sure if you're going to play or not, but it's business as usual. So, and as coaches, it's difficult to plan and motivate, try to keep them motivated. But I give all the credit in the world to the kids. This senior class this past year really took ownership and did a great job with leadership. And that's why, I mean, we had a pretty successful year, all things considered. And I'm hoping that next season is a little more normal than this. But just the planning and preparation part of it, and initially the protocol issue where you're working in small groups and things like that. Just it wasn't normal in any sense, right. And we tried to make it as normal as we could.
Right.
So.
Right, and I think that's what everyone is finding, that they're trying to find ways to be able to develop a program, even though every day is different, every day may change, and still kind of stay the course and have a successful team. I think that's the real challenge in all of this.
Yeah, it was challenging.
I think with the kids, I mean, I'm really impressed with all of the students that I worked with. They're so resilient.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they handle all of this better than we do at times.
Way better.
Like
Way better.
Yeah, they're just ready to go. Like they're like, tell me what to do.
Yeah.
Right? Tell me
Right.
how to do this. Instead of, I think we sometimes get mired down as the adults in charge with, oh, I wish it could be like this, like before. And when we know it's never going to be like before, we have to just move forward. And I think I'm seeing that motivation from them that gives you that positive attitude of, yeah, we're going to move forward, right? We're going to move forward and we're going to make it work now. And hopefully, little by little, things are going to get better. It'll be different, but it's better.
Well, that's just it. It's different. And if you fight different, you're gonna end up not enjoying what you do. If you embrace it and look at it as a challenge, then And again, we did. We kind of used it as a motivating tool to rally our group of players together and have a common goal to not just overcome an opponent, but overcome a situation that just wasn't great.
Right. And I think that just bonds us all together, right?
Yeah. Well, it does. It does.
Going. Well, Ron, thank you for coming, and I'm hoping that you'll come back so someday we'll be unmasked.
I would love to.
Yeah, and maybe out on the field. We'll see in summertime or in fall if we can get out there, because it would be a good time to have you back and talk even more about all of this stuff. We're going to do a little yoga today. I know Ron is going to be doing that yoga too.
You don't want to hurt me.
It's going to be good. It's going to be great, right? We're going to diversify those sports right now.
Beautiful. All right.
But my thanks to Seneca Valley for having me out today and letting us come in to the field house. As always, this is home to me. Love Seneca Valley and my Raiders. And I will meet you in a moment on the mat. Let's come to seated on the mat. Bring the hands to the knees. Taking a couple of deep breaths in, a nice deep breath in. And exhale. Another deep breath in. Exhale, release, shifting forward.
coming to tabletop. Another nice deep breath in. Exhale, release, maybe a cat-cow breath, warm up the spine. Then tuck the toes underneath, pressing it back, downward facing dog. Inhale up onto the balls of the feet. And exhale, release. One more, inhale up. Exhale, release, shifting forward into plank. Right leg comes up, take it down through chaturanga. Cobra. And down dog. Inhale up onto the balls of the feet. Exhale, release. Inhale up. Exhale, release, shifting forward into plank. Left leg comes up, take it down through chaturanga. Cobra. And down dog. Return the knees to the mat. Extend the right leg behind you. Toes pointed down, cross the leg over the midline, pressing back into the diagonal. One breath, nice deep breath in. Exhale, release. Rising back up to tabletop. Extend the left leg behind you, toes pointed down, cross it over the midline, and pressing back to the diagonal. One breath here. Exhale, release. Rising back up to tabletop, tuck the toes underneath behind you. Step, hop, or jump, top of the mat, nice deep sun breath in. And exhale, swan dive down, forward fold. Inhale, hands to shins, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, hands to shins, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Take a nice deep sun breath in. Reach for the sky. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Inhale, right leg steps back, crescent lunge. Exhale, release, humble warrior. Pressing the arms forward, nice straight line from the crown of the head all the way to the tailbone. Flipping the palms towards the ground. Widening out, airplane wings. Shifting the weight into the left foot and rising up into airplane. Nice deep breath in. Exhale, release. Another deep breath in. Exhale, release. Slowly bringing it back to the mat. Arms go up, warrior one. And exhale, bring the hands together. Take them to the head, the heart. Reaching down for the mat. 2 feet together into plank. Take it down through chaturanga. Cobra. And down dog. Gazing between the two hands. Step, hop, or jump, top of the mat. Nice deep sun breath in. And exhale. Hands come to heart center. Inhale, left leg steps back. Crescent lunge. Pressing the arms forward, nice straight line, crown of the head, all the way down to the tailbone. Flip the palms, widen out, airplane wings. Shifting the weight into the right foot, rising up into airplane, nice deep breath in. Using the exhale, root the posture to the mat. Another deep breath in. Exhale, release. Slowly return to the mat, arms go up, warrior one. Bring the palms together to the head, the heart. Reaching down for the mat, stepping back into plank, take it down through chaturanga. Cobra and down dog. Gazing between the two hands, step, hop, or jump, top of the mat, nice deep sun breath in. And exhale, swan dive down, forward fold. Inhale, hands to shins, halfway lift. Exhale, release, forward fold. Inhale, hands to shins, halfway. Exhale, release, forward fold. Nice deep sun breath in. Reach for the sky. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Inhale, right leg steps back, crescent lunge. Exhale, release, humble warrior. Pressing the arms forward, flip the palms, widen out, airplane wings. Shifting the weight, rising up into airplane. Holding here, nice deep breath in. Use that exhale. Let's bring the palms together and then rising back up. Once again, palms together. Take them back out to either side, bring it back down to the mat. Hands come to heart center. And reach for the mat. Step it into plank, take it down through chaturanga, cobra, and down dog. Gazing between the two hands, step, hop, or jump, top of the mat. Nice deep sun breath in. And exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, left leg steps back, crescent lunge. Exhale, release, humble warrior. Press the arms forward, flip the palms, widen out, airplane wings. Shifting the weight, rising up into airplane, one nice deep breath. And exhale, release. Let's bring the palms together beneath you. And then take them back out to the side, follow the breath. Inhale together. Exhale, widen out, slowly return to the mat. Hands come to heart center, reaching down for the mat, stepping it back into plank, take it down through chaturanga, cobra, and down dog. Gazing between the two hands, step, hop, or jump, top of the mat. Nice deep sun breath in. And exhale, swan dive down, forward fold. Putting a nice deep knee bend in the knees, lifting up the toes. See if you can drop the head and neck. And on the inhale, slowly begin to straighten the legs. One breath here. Then nice deep knee bend, release the fingers. Hands come to the mat. Step it back into plank. Take it down through chaturanga, cobra, and down dog. Gazing between the two hands, step, hop, or jump, top of the mat. Nice deep sun breath in. Exhale. Hands come to heart center. Take another deep sun breath in. And as you exhale, hands come to heart center. Stepping the right leg back, crescent lunge. One nice deep breath here. And then shifting forward, standing straight up, let's bring the right knee to 90 degrees. Holding there, maybe twirling the right ankle around, let the weight shift into the left foot. Then slowly begin to press it back, warrior three. Arms reach forward, maybe flexing the foot. One breath here. Then bringing the hands together. Let the hands rise up towards the sky. 2 feet come together on the mat. Nice deep sun breath in. And exhale. Hands come to heart center. Inhale, the left leg steps back. Crescent lunge. Then exhale. Shift the weight into the right foot. Bring the left foot to 90 degrees. Standing up nice and tall, lengthen the spine. Twirling the ankle around, let the weight shift. Then slowly release into warrior three. Reach the arms forward, flex the foot. 2 opposite directions, 1 breath here. Bringing the hands together, hands rise up, and feet come together. Then widening out the feet, let's come down to the mat through prayer squat. Bend the knees, bringing it down through prayer squat. You can hold in prayer squat, lengthen the spine, reach the crown of the head to the sky. Or if you want to shift forward into crow, you can plant the hands, find your tipping point, and shift forward into crow. One nice deep breath here, either posture. Then exhale. Slowly come to seated on the mat. Sitting up nice and tall on the sit bones, thumbs come to the shoulders, inhale the arms out, and slowly begin to recline, keeping the nice long spine, Feet can stay on the mat, or you can bring them to 90 degrees, upward facing boat. Can we keep it right here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly lower down, drawing the heels in towards your backside to where you can almost press them with the fingertips. Let's track the knees towards the top of your mat, pressing all the way through the big toe mounds of the feet. Hip points head towards the sky, rising up in bridge. Maybe the right leg comes up. Maybe those shoulders roll underneath. You can interlace the fingers. Keeping it right there. 3 breaths. Nice deep breath in. See if you can rise up a little higher on the exhale. Another deep breath in. Rising up. One more nice deep breath in. Rising up and slowly take it back down, 1 vertebrae at a time. One more bridge. Maybe the left leg comes up this time. Nice deep breath in. Hip points head to the sky. And exhale. Maybe it rises up a little higher. Another deep breath in. Rising up. One more nice deep breath in. And slowly bring it back down. 1 vertebrae at a time, taking the soles of the feet up towards the sky. Happy baby. Maybe accessing the thighs, the shins, the soles of the feet. Maybe adding a little movement to happy baby, rocking side to side. Then slowly bringing it back to seated. Crossing the right leg over the left. Left arm wraps around your knee. 1 nice deep breath here. Maybe that right arm reaches behind you. Can you gaze out over your shoulder? Little twist. Then bringing it back to center. Switching legs, other side. 1 nice deep breath in. Little twist, gazing behind you. Then slowly bringing it back to center. Lowering yourself down, 1 vertebrae at a time. Reaching the feet up towards the sky. Staying right here. Putting a bend in the knee. Couple of nice deep breaths. If you'd like to take shoulder stand, you can bring the feet back down to the mat. Starting in supported bridge. And kicking up to shoulder stand. Maybe 1 or 2 breaths right here. Then slowly lowering back down and coming to seated on the mat.
Take a chance this season. Get out and enjoy all that the season has to offer. Let's bring our hands to heart center. Find the light within you. Take it out into the world. Namaste.